Okay, at this point we're looking at CG and where that's going to be on our plane. Every time you do this build, obviously everybody's technique, building materials, the type of glue they're going to use, what servos you may use, which battery you may use, is all going to change the dynamic of CG. It's also going to change the dynamic of where our tow hook needs to be placed. So there's some general guidelines given to you by MM Glider Tech. Basically what Merrill is saying is anywhere from 4 1/4 inches to 4 3/8 inches back from the leading edge is roughly where CG will be found. If you can get CG back to 4 1/2 inches, that would be optimal, obviously for better feel in the air, for the plane to indicate what the surroundings are a little bit better. So what we have to decide, and obviously all of this is going to change by plane because maybe my wing wasn't on this exact spot. So I'm going to have to make adjustments based on what my plane is calling for. So I wouldn't recommend anybody put the tow hook in, whether it be the one that came with the plan or the one that I'm going to use, which is an adjustable one, until they've gone out and thrown the plane a few times. Basically, the tow hook itself needs to be on the CG line, really about 1/8 of an inch in front of it, because you want to have the plane pulling on the center of gravity roughly. Now with the adjustable tow hook, I would like this to be the center of the adjustable piece. I'd like to be able to go back from it and go forward from it. So that's my goal. So once I find CG, and I'm only going to be sure of that out in the field, then I'm going to mark that area, find out how far back from the leading edge my CG ends up, and that's when I'm going to install the tow hook. Now, however, you have to find CG with the weight of the tow hook in there. So my plan is simple. Inside the fuselage, I'm going to go back the 4 3/8 to 4 1/2 inches, and I'm going to tape the tow hook inside the fuse. That's going to remain there until I'm done getting CG correct on my plane. I'm going to start with 4 1/2 inches back from the leading edge, which is basically the optimal. And I believe I'll probably have to come forward to be able to control the plane, but we'll see. If I can get it back to the 4 1/2 inches optimal, that's where I'd like it to be. So what I've done is pretty simple. I've marked the bottom of my plane where the leading edge is back to where 4 1/2 inches is, and that should be center of gravity, or at least where I would like to see it. It will probably end up a little ahead of this. And what I'm going to use is real simple. I'm going to use a CG machine that you can buy at any hobby shop. I'm going to set it up for that 4 1/2 inch mark where I would like it to be for optimal use, and I'm going to tape the tow hook on the inside at the same juncture, try to split the weight. And that's as close as I'm going to be able to get it. Once I've got it flying with just a hand toss, and it's floating and it's reacting correctly and it's not porpoising in the air, and I don't have to make any adjustments, I don't have to add any elevator, I don't have to pull back on the stick, and she's just flying true, that's when I'll know exactly where my CG is. So I hope that makes sense, and I'm going to go ahead and tape this in. I'm going to show you where my CG ends up based on this plane, and where it's basically telling me it wants to be static in the air and how much weight I have to add. So we'll get back to that, and we're moving forward.